What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and thank you so much for choosing this channel. Thank you for being on this channel today, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Follow me on Instagram, IsaacDino21, and today I will be talking about Wonder Woman 1984. So this Redditor, who DCEU leaks, by the way, this Redditor, he confirmed a lot of things from Endgame. Like, he confirmed they were going to go into the 70s to find some pin particles. He confirmed Tony was going to be the one that snapped at the end. So without being said, there might be spoilers. So if you don't want to have any spoilers whatsoever for Wonder Woman 1984, I suggest you click off right now. And yeah, let's get into this. So if you think this is 100% true, take this with a grain of salt. Just kind of look at it and be like, hey, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. So I'm going to start reading. Wonder Woman 1984. Demaskiera, young Diana, 8 through 9 years old, run towards a giant coliseum as future Diana gives a voiceover about home. An Olympics-like race is going to take place, and Diana will compete against much older Amazons. You actually saw that in the trailer, by the way. Queen Hippolyta and Antiope watch as the race starts. It's gigantic. They race over columns and balance themselves off pendulums. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing things. I'm very terrible at pronouncing stuff. But Diana takes the lead over the next stage, diving from the Colosseum into the ocean below. She washes ashore and gets to a waiting horse. Diana scoops up a bow and fires a shot at the circular target. Blue smoke billows out and a blue curtain drops from the Colosseum, signaling to the crowd that Diana is in the lead. The race continues. Diana is still leading until she takes her eyes off the path and is knocked off her horse by a branch. The horse scurries away and the other Amazons pass her. Diana spots a gully and slides down it, saving time, finding her horse, and regaining the lead. She leads the racers back into the arena. The last stage is to grab a spear and toss it through a gigantic ring. Diana grabs it and is moments from victory, but Antiope grabs the spear out of her hands and Diana loses. She complains, saying it's not fair and she should have won. Antiope knows she cheated, taking the other path. There's a lesson here about patience and not taking the easy way out. Title card, Wonder Woman 84. Just that. It's initials only. So that's the very beginning. Sounds interesting. You saw that in the trailer, so let me continue. Washington, D.C. is very, very 1980s like. So 80s that it's in the movie version of the 2015 sequence in Back to the Future Part 2. Everything is a big, broad, and a joke. All kinds of gags happen in the little montage, but at a certain point, two a-holes in a car almost killed an old lady, and a quick flash of a figure kicks off the car and gets her to safety. The montage continues in a mall. A couple of guys enter a store and pull a gun on an employee. They're not interested in the merchandise, though. It's a front for the worthwhile stuff in the back, priceless artifacts that have been smuggled. The robbers bolt, but one trips and his gun hits the ground. People in the mall freak. Cops show up. One of the goons grabs a little girl and dangles her over the second-story railing, saying he won't go back to jail. A little black girl asks her mom about the woman in the stories who saves people. Will she show up? Mom says it's just a story. But you know, it's a Wonder Woman movie. So Wonder Woman shows up, saves the girl, and takes out the goons. There's an aw moment from where the little girl sees her, and Diana saves her. She also kills the security cameras in the process so that her identity stays hidden. This is basically all the movie does to respect walking away for 100 years after Steve Trevor's death. Alright, we meet Barbara Minerva. Think Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns before Max Schreck throws her out of the window. She works in the Smithsonian and drops her things. Nobody cares to help. Nobody notices her except Diana, who also works there and helps her. Barbara is taken by somebody in her life helping her and asks if they should get coffee later. Diana declines, but maybe someday. A woman asks if anyone knows who Barbara Minerva is. Yes, that's me. You hired me. You really don't remember? Turns out the feds want to know about the artifacts from the store in the mall, and it's her specialty. Diana goes home. We see pictures chronicling time since the first movie. She was bridesmaid at Charlie's wedding. She and an elderly Etta taking a picture together on a ship. And of course, there's a photo of Steve. She still has his watch. The next day, Diana checks in on Barbara and finds her working with the strange rock. They joke about what sort of properties it might have. One dude takes it and joke wishes that he could have coffee right this second. And then when he walks away, an intern walks into the room and says he has extra coffees. Nobody takes it seriously. Diana takes the stone as people make cracks about what they'd wish for. Diana, while holding the stone, just says she knows what she would wish for. And wouldn't you know it, Steve's watch in her apartment suddenly springs to life. Diana and Barbara go to lunch. Barbara asks if Diana's ever been in love once. She says he was a pilot who died. Barbara laughs, and she frequently in love. They part then Barbara walks home. She spots a homeless man she's familiar with and gives him some money. A little later, a guy on the street hits on her, and when rejected, he grabs her. Diana appears and knocks him the F out. Tells Barbara it's really just momentum and not that hard to hit someone that hard. The next day, Barbara takes the stone and returns to the dot of wishes. She wants to be strong and sexy, desired. She wishes to be just like Diana. When she walks out of her office, she nearly trips and ends up jumping and balancing herself on some chairs. She's then introduced to Maxwell Lord, a TV oil baron type. Think 80s Trump on Pedro Pascal's hair. Alright, that's a nice description. Alright. Who owns a company called Black Gold and wants to make a large donation to the Smithsonian. He's hitting on Barbara openly when Diana shows up. Max turns his attention to her and says he's throwing a huge party to celebrate his donation. Diana says she'll probably skip on it, and is concerned about Max's actions around Barbara. Max returns to his office, which has gorgeous lobby. But when he gets upstairs, it's in shambles. He's broke, multiple letters saying bills are past due. All of his oil deals have gone poorly. He finds out it's his weekend and takes his 8-year-old son, Alistair. He promises the kid that all of the time he's been away will be worth it, and Alistair will be proud that he's his father. At the same time, Stagg, an investor, appears to tells Max he wants out. Max's scheme involved getting partners to buy oil rights in the US and Canada. Max better come up with his money and fast. Barbara gets a makeover for the party. Permed hair, high heels, tight dress. She feels good. At the party, Max finds her and suggests they go somewhere more quiet. Your office? They start making out and Max sees the wish stone. He takes it behind his back as they kiss. Barbara goes to the party after all. A guy there keeps calling after her, but she tells him to get lost. She doesn't know him, but he repeats some of Steve's lines from the first movie. She quickly gets it. Probably gets it too quickly, to be honest. The guy in front of her is Steve Trevor. He's in a new body, but Diana and we only see Steve. Think Quantum Leap. They go for a nighttime stroll in the park. He says he remembers being on the plane, then he just woke up in a bed. He knows there was something in between, something quite good, but he can't remember what it was. He takes her to the guy he's inhabiting apartment. Cute 80s joke ensue. Bikes and weird now. Phone books will never be obsolete, and etc. And Steve checks out his new body in the mirror. It'll do. Max returns to his office with the stone. He knows what it is. He takes it and wishes to become the dream stone itself. The stone dissolves and Max is filled with a huge amount of power. Next morning, Steve and Diana wake up next to each other in bed. He suggests never leaving. She's agreeable to that, but I think it's a good idea to find out why a magic rock brought my boyfriend back from the dead. Yeah, he gets that. We kick into a pretty great sequence where Steve tries to find the best modern day clothes and Diana hates all of his choices, but he ends up with the fanny pack, which we actually see in the trailers, by the way. They go to the Smithsonian and Diana finds the stone is missing. Barbara says she gave it to Max because of his donations to the Smithsonian. Diana's taken aback by Barbara's look and attitude, but heads off with Steve. Max goes to Stagg Industries to find the pissed off investor from before. He apologized for the wells drying up, saying he should have stopped when it started instead of pressing forward. He wishes things would turn around, and then he grabs Stagg's hands and says, "Don't you wish that?" He does, and Max is thrilled. He then says he'll crush Stagg in return. When he goes downstairs, Max finds armed cops ready to arrest Stagg for tax crimes. This was a little hard to follow for some reason, so just to lay it out, when Max touches you, if you wish for something, he'll grant it, but upon granting the wish, he'll he'll take something of yours in return. So he got 2 things he wanted from Stag. Alright, so that's a little explanation to the wishes. Max returns to his office to find his secretary unable to handle all of their phone calls. All of the oil fields struck it rich and new investors want in. Max takes her hand as she wishes for help, and new workers appear out of the blue. People who say they had interviews elsewhere, or is this the employment office, etc. Max hires them on the spot. After some sight gags, Diana explains pieces of modern art to Steve. Steve ends up appraising a trash bin, which you see in the trailer, by the way. Diana and Steve head to Max's office. There are hundreds of people outside trying to get in to be hired. They head down an alley to find a locked gate. Diana takes it and struggles. She finally breaks it. Must be a strong lock. They end up in Max's empty office and find his overdue bills and shattered base of the wishing stone. Diana says objects like this once existed, infused with the power of the gods. The objects were incredibly powerful, and their danger level depended on which god infused them. They learn from Max's secretary that he's headed for Cairo to meet an oil baron. Diana fills Steve in on the 1980s planes, but they can't get on one because he doesn't have a passport, but he doesn't want to ride in one. He wants to fly. They sneak into a military base and hop in a fighter jet. Soldiers appear, but Steve reassures Diana once they're in the air, they'll lose them. Except there's one thing Steve doesn't know about. Radars. Whoop. They get in the air, the military scrambling fighters. Diana says there's a trick she once used before on the coffee cup that she lost. Based on how the mascara stayed hidden from the world, Diana uses her power to make the fighter jet invisible. So we will be getting the invisible jet finally. Steve and Diana fly in safety. She loves that he can fly. It's the one thing she could never do. He says it's about riding the wind. They see fireworks in the distance. Turns out it's the 4th of July. Steve turns the jet into the fireworks, and we see them firing from inside the invisible plane. It's gorgeous. Patty Jenkins really knocks this moment out of the park. Barbara jogs home alone that night. The same a-hole from before sees her. She recognizes him, stops, and then proceeds to beat the hell out of him. Wow. The homeless man she gave money to earlier sees and she stops herself. In Cairo, Max meets with the leader of the country. Another wish is made for the leader's enemies to be removed from his lands now and forever. A giant wall appears, as well as news reports of newly found artifacts to seal the leader's hold over the country. Max wants his oil in return, but finds out the oil was already sold in Saudi Arabia. Max takes his honor guard and military instead, asking if they know where the nearest person with oil is. We learn via newscast that America is supporting Egypt and Russia in supporting Egypt's enemy, so the Cold War is heating up. Steve and Diana follow the mayhem of people on opposite sides of the wall. They take a taxi and end up passing Max's convoy on the street. They buy the car from the driver and ditch him on the side of the road. When Max sees Diana, he orders the soldiers he's with to get rid of her. Big Raiders of the Lost Ark-ish action scenes ensues, but Diana moving up with trucks to try to get to Max. But there's heavy ordnance on the board and they give her everything they've got. Diana takes a bullet to the arm and it actually hurts her. At another point, she's nearly crushed by 2 of the vehicles, but Steve wedges the back one in between them to keep her safe. Diana makes it to Max, saying he needs to give up the stone. Max says he is the stone now. And then she sees kids playing ball in the street up ahead. She uses her lasso to swing and grab the kids, and then it slips from her finger and she crashes to the street. Steve blocks off the convoy, but her weakness nearly got to her, and the kids killed. Max drives off in the head vehicle to keep up in the walked away bit. Diana tells the kids this will be their secret. Diana figures out that Max destroyed the stone and the power flows through him. It's also clear that Diana's weak and they don't know why. Right. Interesting. Back home, Barbara does research on the stone. Diana calls her and finds what she's learned. The stone has been glimpsed in various cultures through history. the Romans, the Mayans, etc. But after it's found, the culture always disappears under mysterious circumstances. Barbara has once last led on it. A weirder fortune teller she met at the party, Diana says she'll meet her there. Max returns home. His body is deteriorating as he grants all of these wishes. And he needs to take his son again, which annoys him. The kid loves his dad and says he just wishes for him to get what he wants, which breaks Max's heart, but also, makes him even more powerful. Max decides he wants to see the president. Diana, Steve, and Barbara find a fortune teller guy whose ancestors were Mayan. They learn that by using a wish, you lose something important to you. You can recant your wish and get that thing back, but the wish goes away. By bringing Steve back to life, Diana lost her powers. If she recants to get the power back, Steve will disappear. The same thing if they kill Max. Barbara argues she doesn't want to give up what she got from the wish. She disappears when Diana's attention is elsewhere in the conversation. Diana and Steve head back to Diana's apartment to find Max. She has a security room in the back as well as something in the sheet. Steve asks what is it. Diana tells him to take the lasso of truth because it can also show you things. He does and learns the legend of one of Diana's ancestors. When the Amazons retreated to the Mesquite, the ancestors stood against all men in armor forged from bits of their sisters, armor so strong that thousands of men surrounding her couldn't pierce it. The sheet, of course, covers that armor. Max meets with the president who wants more nukes and weapons to fight Russia. Max grants the wish and in return wants the president's power. Coincidentally, Max sees designs for something, a system to take over any television broadcast in the world. There's some jumble here about the particles literally touching people, and Max believes he can use this to grant wishes for and take things from a massive amount of people at once. Diana and Steve confront Max as he's leaving. Fight ensues against Max's guards, and Diana doesn't want to kill them. It's not their fault. They take them down and get to Max, but Diana's launched back across the room by Barbara, who is super strong and just like Diana. She won't give up her power and will protect Max. Fight ensues with Barbara kicking the crap out of Diana. Diana uses the lasso of truth and Barbara rips it out of her hands. She rains holy hell on her, beating her within an inch of consciousness. Max gets away and Barbara follows, boarding his plane with him. Max tells her that his body is failing, but he'll use the president's satellite system to grant wishes all over the world. He'll take health back from the wishers and be rejuvenated. He says he's feeling generous and asks Barbara what she would wish for. Barbara doesn't want to be like someone else anymore. She wants to be unique, like an apex predator. Meanwhile, Russia has seen all of America's new nuclear bombs show up on the map and considers it an act of war. They're preparing to launch their own in retaliation. There's an absolute chaos in the streets as the consequences of Max's wishes ripple through different classes of society. Steve helps the injured Diana, walks as people freak out in the streets. He takes her aside and tells her he had an amazing life and he has loved seeing the modern day, but that the world needs her. She needs to recant her wish. Diana absolutely refuses. She gives so much all the time, never thinking of herself. Why can't she just have this one thing? He kisses her and says he loves her, but this is more important than that. Diana breaks. She's crying, knowing it has to be done. She tells Steve she'll never love again, but he tells her in no way does he want that. There are so many people out there and she shouldn't be alone. Maybe the guy whose body he's in is nice. She kisses him, a long, deep goodbye kiss. What happens next occurs in a single take. Diana turns her back on Steve and turns, leaving him behind a corner and out of frame. She walks towards camera slowly. She walks faster, jogging, running, sprinting, and now it's clear what's happened as she bolts. Wonder Woman returned and Diana launches into the air, lassoing a 737 in the sky and launching it even higher. We hear Steve's voice from the flight in the invisible jet. That's flying is just riding in the wind. Diana closes her eye and then she's flying all on her own. Oh crap, she's actually going to fly in this movie. Your mileage may vary, but this whole sequence hits in a no man's land like kind of way. Elsewhere, Russia launches a nuke. Diana finds it and dismantles it in the air. In another part of the world, as extremists fires their rifles, she rips them from their arms and pulls the guns apart. Max arrives in the satellite broadcast installation. There's a podium set up for the presidential address, as well as some kind of high-tech signal chamber. Think a smaller time machine from Terminator Genesis, by the way. Max dresses the entire planet. Look into the screen and wish for your heart's desires. Everyone sees the broadcast, Diana included. She rushes home and takes her ancestor's armor, which I'm assuming is the Golden Eagle armor we saw in the trailers. People make wishes everywhere. One woman shouts at a guy that he wishes he'd be forced to go back from where he came from. He wishes she'll drop dead. He turns around and sees police forcing people into cars as the woman collapses from a heart attack. Max picks and chooses what to take from each of the wishers. He steals health and rejuvenates himself. His son, Alistair, watches from the office building in DC, terrified as rioters threaten to burst down the door. Guards protect the satellite installation in the air, and they see something coming. Something with wings. It's Diana in the gold armor of her ancestor. It's the armor from the poster, but she has a helmet and archangle like wings. She knocks the guards out. Above her, she's confronted by the mutated Barbara Cheetah. Barbara is cheating. Alright. Above her, she's confronted by the mutated Barbara Cheetah. The scene takes place at night, so it's hard to tell the exact coloring. But Cheetah is either white or very light gold. She stands upright and the light fur running down from her neck, a tail and sharp claws. Her hair is streaked back and white. She has black marks on her face like running mascara. Diana is saddened by the change and they fight. Cheetah is powerful, ripping chunks of Diana's armor off her. The wings are destroyed. They end up barreling through power, coupling and dislodging wires. They fall into the water, Diana holding Cheetah down. She begs her to recant her wish, and Cheetah refuses. Then I'm so sorry, Diana says, as a sparkling wire hits the pool and fries Cheetah. Diana carries Cheetah out of the water and sets her down. Cheetah is still alive, but badly hurt. Diana enters to find Max addressing the country. She tries to get him, but Max has the power of a god and easily keeps her away. He walks to the Terminator-like central chamber, demanding more wishes. Diana asks why he keeps going. He already has enough power, but he wants more, always more. Side note, by the way, one of the cool things about the gold armor is that the lasso of truth reflects in it. So anytime she pulls it out, it looks nice. Alright, Max throws against a wall. He taunts her about Steve, but says he's not a bad man. She can have him back if she wishes it. She wants him back more than anything, but the price is too high to pay. She has a quite quiet monologue about wanting to recant wishes. When he asks why she thinks he'd do that, she says, "I wasn't talking to you." Max looks down to see the lasso tied around his ankle. Diana is connected to all of the people Max was broadcasting to. There's still chaos everywhere. Alistair leaves the building to find dangerous streets. Max sees him and is suddenly terrified for his son. Finally, he recants his wish to be in the Dreamstone. Outside, we see Barbara, not Cheetah. In the end, she recanted her wish too. In the field, Max arrives in the helicopter, finds his son. He cries, apologizing. Alistair says he wished he would find him. Later, it's Christmas time. With snow on the ground and decorations everywhere, Diana walks in a plaza square, seeing people being kind to each other. A stranger says something to her. It's the man Steve was inhabiting. He's nice. They wish each other happy holidays, and he walks away. Another Diana voiceover, talking about her faith in people. She flies through the air. Then she goes full Superman. An alarm sounds and high in the atmosphere. Wonder Woman flies far into the distance to answer the call. Alright, that was a long read, boys. This is my longest video so far. But that's the Wonder Woman 84 plot leak. Personally, this story sounds really good. It sounds like be careful what you wish for theme. It doesn't sound as good as the first movie, but I'm not gonna lie, that first movie is so tough to beat. I will say, the villains in this movie do feel more like a threat than Ares ever was in that first movie. From Max, One thing I was worried about before this movie is I believe we're gonna get very little of Maxwell Lord, because from the trailers it looked like he was only gonna be a small minor villain, and that Cheetah was gonna take over. Now I know Cheetah is probably Wonder Woman's best villain ever. Her most iconic. It's like the Joker, Batman, Lex Luthor, Superman connection type. So, I knew we should get more Cheetah, and from what we got, it looks like we will. Although I am disappointed that she doesn't end up as Cheetah at the end. That is very depressing to know. But I am glad we are getting a ton of Maxwell Lord, because the story, this sounds pretty good. I don't know how, like I said, take this plot leak with a grain of salt. It may be a lie. It may be the truth. I don't know. But this Redditor, you can search him up on Reddit, DCU Leaks. He has confirmed lots of things in the past. So take this with a grain of salt. If you don't want spoilers, then you shouldn't have been here in the first place. I already warned y'all at the beginning, but that's going to be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching this long video. If you stayed through the whole video, surprisingly, I want you to comment down below Wonder Woman 84. Just comment down that, and I would know that you watched the whole thing. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, IsaacDino21. And if you want more plot leaks, because I will be reading more plot leaks, like the Black Widow, Godzilla vs. Kong, everything, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, share my videos, make sure to get a bigger audience on this channel. Thank you guys for watching. Till the next time, peace.